Right guys, Jimmy, here we are with our totally, well, a long way refurbished FJR. Okay, the bike has on it now. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got 158,366 kilometres on it. I did the run to Port Douglas, hit a massive rock on in Gympie. The clutch was slipping on me on the way back. The tyres were totally chewed out, but we have done a total refurbishment again on the bike. Let's start with the front end. Now, the front tyre, the front end hit a massive rock. You can see there where it's been heated up and stretched out. The guy who did that, who fixed my front rim, which was really bad before, you probably saw it on the when I started dismantling the bike, Steve Martin from Pakenham. He's a superbike rider. He does smash repairs on motorcycles, and he is an absolute legend. $110, he fixed it for me. No spraying it or whatever. I didn't want it all cleaned up and sprayed. The guy whacked it out, whatever he did to it, heated it up and straightened it absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. There's no wobble in the front end or anything. All right, on the front we have put ourselves a pair of brand new Michelin Road 6 GTs. Brand new they are. Brand new. The other ones have done 21,000 on the front and still had more to go. Okay, put a new set of wheel bearings in there as well because they were a little bit chipped from hitting the rock. Didn't do anything to the forks. I left them standard, took them out, looked at them, they seemed all right. There's my 380 decibel horn on it, that's very loud. Also, what I did was pulled out all the fairings because I had a blown headlight. So I figured if headlight number 1 will blow, number 2 will blow as well. So let's get it all out so we don't have to do it again, because to get the headlights out, you've got to take this whole dash out to reach in there and get to the headlights, which is practically impossible without it all being out. It can be done by using your left hand, right hand or whatever, but the bike was going to be dismantled anyway. All the fairings came off it, both sides. I cleaned the brakes and checked the pads. The pads were fine. They've done 21,000. They'll do another 20,000 on the freeway, so no drama whatsoever. Also, I changed the indicator globes just in case. I didn't want to take out the fairings again. The head stem bearings, took it all out. As you can see on the other video, the head stem bearings were stuffed absolutely from the big whack that the bike took. But now it steers like a dream. It's running really, really well. Bled the front and rear brakes. Also, I ordered an original clutch from, on its maiden run. I think I've done about 30 Ks on it. No oil. Perfect. I ordered an original clutch for it. Now, when I took the clutch out, I believed it was the original clutch in it. Now, the bike hasn't been abused in its life. It was owned by people over the age of 50, the previous owners. They rode it around Australia twice. And so I don't think it was abused. That clutch that came out lined up perfectly with the clutch that I ordered from Yamaha. So I have a very strong feeling that clutch was the original clutch in the bike. 160,000 nearly on the original clutch. So thus, this clutch should go through to 330,000, which I'm going to keep. I'm going to keep the bike. I'm going to keep riding it until she drops. I want to see how far I can push this thing in the next 2 years to see if she will do 320,000. If anyone's out there who's got an FJR that's done those type of case, please contact us and tell us that it's working out really, really well. Adjusted everything. The fork seals I didn't do because I didn't find anything wrong with them, but hey, we've got to leave some meat on the bone for the next rebuild. So yeah, anyway, new plugs, new air filter. We didn't really need to change the air filter. What we needed to do was to blow it out, but I changed it anyway. I'm using Motel 7100 full synthetic, 1040 in it, and a high flow oil filter. which I find they do really well. Yeah. And on the rear we've got our Michelin GT Road 6. I can't state how good these tyres are. A lot of people say, look, you know, your GT Angels are better, the Pirelli, because it's more stronger up the top here, and with the weight of the bike it does flatten out. But you can't beat these things. You can't beat these tyres in the rain. You can't beat them. They're absolutely fantastic in the rain. I had the rear, I got Steve Martin checked the rear rim. It wasn't buckled or anything. I thought it might have been bent. The balance was right out on it. But yeah, anyway, plenty of beef on the rear pads, so I installed the rear pads. And she is smooth. She's running with the new wheel bearings and everything in it like a new motorcycle. Absolutely new motorcycle. Obviously the clutch is being bled. I didn't change the coolant because the coolant was done about a year ago, so I'm not going to bother with it. Otherwise, I am very, very happy with it. What I noticed about the clutch starting to give up is because it's hard to pull in. That's really hard to pull in. They're notorious for having a hard standard clutch to pull in, and it was easier. As I was coming back from Queensland, I noticed that the clutch, pulling on it was easy. Now it's harder. That's it. No oil leaks, any oil leaks? Nope, she's loaded right up with fluid. Also, what I noticed after the whack that the bike took, this was up to here. So I did think it did push either the bearing out or the nut, I'm not sure. But I've marked everything to keep an eye on it. And the front's all marked, the calipers are marked. And yeah, the FJ is here, ready to go to Uluru. The first trip's going to be, I hope, in October to Uluru. Then the next trip is going to be to Darwin in the Western Australia. I think I'll be doing that next year because of the harsh climate Australia has with the heat. You know, the only problem that I find with the FJ, it does not like the heat. Oh, she'll run through it, she'll run well, but geez, it gets hot on this engine. Sitting on top of this engine, it gets really, really hot. And that's about it. My FJ's back on the road. 2 new headlight globes, 1 blue, changed both of them because you've got to take the whole thing out like I explained. Also did the indicators as well. I went in and got a couple of indicator bolts from the old Repco. And that's about it. Time to get back to work and save up some money so I can take off again with my pride and joy, my FJR. Alright guys, the old Quantic helmet, and I'll put a video out there of me riding it and see what it's like. I have ridden it. I find it very, very smooth. I took it really easy with it in the beginning when I put the clutch in, the new clutch, but no problem. Get an original clutch for it. I ordered a white clutch and I found that it didn't look right. It didn't have its red markings on it where everything should go. The friction plates were a lot bigger. The friction plates were a lot wider. The actual pads were wider, where the Yamahas are a lot smaller inside. Yeah, anyway, that's what I've done. Alright guys, I'm not going to bore you any longer. I'm going to go for a bit of a ride because it is a nice day here at Elwood Beach. I want to go for a nice ride now with it, all the way down to Mornington and see how she's going to run. Get some fuel, get back. And job done. Also, the old Venturi pack at I had a lot of weight on it a while ago. I was carrying stuff for the wife and for the shop and for this and that, and the panniers were full, and it broke it. I had it overloaded. Now I've tied her down with ties. She's on there, she's not going anywhere. But I have ordered, I can get another one quite cheap, they're not that expensive, but not a chrome one. I've got to get a black one. And I'd like a chrome one because it looks really good with the bike. But the trip's not away from. If I can't get a chrome one quickly, I'll go and put a black one on the back. and job done. The FJ is here for another day. Oh, another couple more trips, I hope. I've got to be careful, keep my eyes open, because I nearly ran into one of these things. Anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to let you go. I'm not going to bore you anymore, but the old FJ, 158,339 Ks on the click, and she is still clicking. I'm going to see how far I can go with this bike. Will she do 300? Will she make the... could we burn out this next clutch? We need to do 330,000 Ks on it to burn out the clutch. But if this thing can get 330,000 Ks, how far can we really go with it? All right, guys, I'm out of here. Change the diff oil as well. Pull the whole shafts out. Pull all that out, the shafts. Took the stands off and everything. Re-greased the uni joint in there and new diff oil. And job done. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe and wait for the next trip.